Welcome to Makers International, a podcast of makers from around the world, talking with makers from around the world. Here's Jamie Page, Steve Twidell, Chris Cute, and now your host, Richard Morley.
Hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, good times, whatever time it is, and wherever you're listening. Joined me as always, Mr. Chris Cute.
How you doing?
And Mr. Steve Twidell.
Hello.
And our good friend, Jamie Page.
Hello.
But wait, there's more. Just like the dodgy TV commercials, we have two special guests with us this evening. First of all, we have Bamba the dog and his sidekick, Chris, who also just happens to be a wood turner. How you doing, Chris?
I'm all right, thank you, Richard. Yourself?
Not too bad at all. And also somebody else here who is here not of his own free will. He is an actual moron and chief of the Department of Transportation for the city of Bloomington, Illinois.
Hello! I'm so amped to be here.
No need to ask. I'm glad to hear it. Excellent. We've both been on with us before, so you hopefully remember the vague outline of the show, which I know Chris wants to change, but that's for another day. So just very quickly, as always, I'm going to run through a few little things, shout outs, etc. First of all, over on YouTube, we've got Sean Evely. Hi, Sean. And also on SoundCloud, and I think this is kind of a cool handle, it is Origin Point Cast. No idea why someone would be that, but that is them anyway. Also over on the live show this evening, if your name pops out at me, it's because you've been chatting. So we have got SK Crafts, the NFA Wood Turning, the Mad Maker, AH Bespoke, Rubio Arts, and someone there, Sparky 415. Everything's adjustable. Why do I always pick the really long names? Anyway, everyone else that's in the chat chatting away, thank you. If I missed your name, it's probably because you weren't saying enough. As always, tonight's show is brought to you in part by Yorkshire Grit with Turner's Abrasive Paste, our good friend Chad over at Mancrafting, and Pam from Highland Boxes, who are all giving away stuff infrequently or fairly frequently with us and just throughout the year. If you want to find out more about our sponsors and possibly even us, I don't know why, but maybe you will, head on over to our website, makersinternationalpodcast.com/momentum sponsors, and Jamie there puts all the stuff, what is interesting or not interesting, but relevant, hopefully, about the show. Isn't that right, Jamie?
Yeah.
You heard it here first. Chris.
I love how Jamie always elaborates on what you throw to him. It's just, it's pure. Jamie, it's genius. Good for you.
It just lets me go on and on and on. And then,
normally I put it on forward splash, but
I'm still looking for that key on my keyboard. I don't know where the hell that is. But
I'll tell you what, Richard, you can tell you had a week off.
yeah.
I think that might be an all-time record. We started late and we're still only 34 minutes in. Chris, do we have any random listener questions for the week?
Yes, we do.
Excellent.
Oh, this talk of tequila has really messed my mouth up. Anyway, I'm sorry.
Tequila!
Yes, we do. And God,
Don't worry, Chris, I've got a cure for that.
Thank you, Jamie.
Not that anyone wants to know.
We can explain later if you'd like, but I'm sure you would not like. We have two questions, and they actually are topic related. So it's amazing how things like that work out, isn't it? Anyway. Andy Pugh has two questions for us, and I think they're worth talking about quickly. He says there's going to be quite a few of the previous podcast guests, people who have been on with us in the past at Maker Central. He says he knows that I can't be there, but he doesn't care. But he says, how is it possible that at some point in time we could coordinate an alumni photo of the guests and the hosts that will be at Maker Central? Could we possibly gather some people that have been on with the podcast and get kind of a group shot? And this is a question to Richard, Jamie, and Steve, because as Andy so nicely put it,
it'd be a good idea to get Joe involved with that picture as well, I think.
Yeah, and Joe would be there too.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Along a similar vein, Andy says also whether people have been on the show or have not been on the show, there's a lot of people who are out in the chat every week. He says possibly we could arrange a photo of that nature as well for people too, so they can, and you guys are fortunate because I won't be there, so my ugly mug won't be in the photo, so it might actually be worth your time to do it anyway. And then I guess the suggestion from there was to coordinate that, guys, and then maybe post the picture up on our Instagram or our Facebook or something so that people can actually collect it and I guess save it for, whatever, as a memory of Maker Central 2019. Well, no, just as one of their memories of Maker Central 2019. And when do you guys think would be when would be a good time to do that? Do you think prior to like the Sunday broadcast would be the best time to coordinate that, since that's probably the only time all three of you will actually be in the same space?
The first hour of arriving, because that's the only time we're going to be sober.
That's solid advice right there.
No, I think the photo that the people want is when you're not sober. That's because that's actually the memory.
Oh, I get it. Okay, all right.
So what?
Any time after the first hour then.
So, do you guys? Can I suggest that? Do you think that's a good idea? Because the three of you will be together to do the podcast. You might as well get the photo done beforehand, or maybe afterwards.
I certainly have got a problem with having a photo. I'm a bit perplexed as to why anyone would want to have their photo with us. But that's
well, so am I. But Andy asked the question, not me.
What we could do maybe is I could have a camera set up at the Maker's booth, and anybody that comes along, they can jump up, take a quick snap, and we can then amalgamate them all as well.
Okay.
Or put them all together.
So, yeah. For those people that don't know fancy words like amalgamate, yeah.
I think Andy was looking for a group photo, but Steve, if you want to be lazy and do it that way, that's fine.
Well, I know last year there was a photo floating around, which I think is on the small YouTube maker workshop, YouTube maker group.
Yeah,
on Facebook. There was like a big that somebody took on a selfie stick and had loads of people in. I think that might be the sort of thing. But yeah, those kind of things. Whenever,
Well, it's a matter of coordinating when you, Steve, and Jamie will be together, and knowing Jamie and his flightiness, and Jamie will be standing. Oh, one moment, there's a bigger name over there. I've got to go talk to him. I'm just the only time I know that you guys will be together is when you're doing the podcast on Sunday. So I thoughtfully suggested that because it would not be an inconvenience for you guys.
That would make. I think probably the best time would be at the end of that show.
Okay, there you go. Because
everyone will be in there, and we'll be in the same place, and then it could happen, and whoever's there is there, and at least then everyone knows that it's going to be there. But before or after the Sunday night, that would be the easiest. But
all right, well, there's a caveat to this, and it would be only fair for me to mention it now, because people, we haven't actually received permission from the Hilton to do the broadcast yet.
Be fine. Don't worry about that.
Hopefully,
and I don't like caviar.
Well, hopefully these guys will see to it as soon as they arrive, so there isn't the last minute BS that Richard and I had to go through last year. Hint. Steve, Richard, Jamie.
Be fine. What's the good happen?
Don't leave it up to Richard, because he'll go ask 5 minutes before you're supposed to be on the air. Jamie, Steve, handle this, okay? When you get there on Saturday, please handle this.
Hold on, I'm just looking up what hint means. 1 second.
Oh God, I give up.
5 minutes before the show, Richard will be making tea.
Okay, over to you guys. Okay, I think we're talking about Maker Central this time around. So I'll
be at the bar getting Guinness.
Guess it's up to me then.
We're doomed. Anyway, was that the only one question, or was there another one? Have we got to get out for that? Plan B.
Go.
One question's enough each week. It's just too harsh on our brains.
I thought Chris said there was two. I could have sworn he said there was two.
There was, and I asked. Oh my God, why do I?
It was a two-parter. It was a
two-parter.
I
don't even know why I try. One was for the people that have been guests before, Richard, and the other people was a group photo of folks who join us every week in the chat. Two separate questions. Okay, carry on. Maker Central. Hi. Remember? That's what we're talking about.
I genuinely thought that was one question. I count one question with two parts to be one question, not two. I'm just putting that out there. That to me came across as one question with two subsections, not two separate questions. That's all. That's all I'm saying.
And you guys were wondering why I wore a helmet? This is why.
Someone boot Richard. Where's the boot button? Where is it? Where is it?
Ladies and gentlemen,
get out of here.
Welcome to the Semantics Podcast.
Fine, okay.
For
Right.
Christ's
So
sake,
we're talking about Maker Central again this week, and Chris, you covered quite a few things last week when we were talking before. Briefly on the show, there were a few things that we were going to head over, but I just think it might be worth, because poor old Chris and poor old Andy have been sat here feeling like, what the hell have I let myself in for? I'm just wasting my evening.
I'm not thinking that at all.
First and foremost, we'll let Chris finish his G&T. But what are you two doing at Maker Central? Because Chris, you were there last year. You were demoing, but I'm not sure. I couldn't see you on the list this year. So what are you up to? And then we'll find out what Andy's doing and why he's.
Well, I was asked very early on in the planning stage of this year's Maker Central if I would do a demo for Nick on the main stage. And I had to decline that because it's Record Powered sponsored. So obviously that's a conflict with my sponsor. I can't to using a competitor's machinery. So Craig Steele, who is the skill centre manager at Axminster HQ in Devon, said, "Screw that, we'll have you with us all weekend." You know, so I said, "Well, yeah, fine, I'm up for that." And they thrashed out some details, and they worked out the logistics of it all. And I will be sort of like tag teaming. Now, those of you that don't know, there's Craig Steele, who's a master craftsman who heads up the skill centre, and his partner in crime there is a guy called Colwyn Way. Now, Colwyn, if you haven't heard of him or seen him turn, a lot of wood turners get called master wood turners or refer to themselves as master wood turners. Colwyn is a qualified master wood turner. He did the full apprenticeship deal and was apprenticed for about 5 years at college. So Colwyn is a true accredited master wood turner. So he's Axminster's master wood turner in residence. So he'll be doing a bit, I'll be doing a bit, vice versa, like that, pretty much most of the weekend. I have told them that I'll be going to do some pen turning at the Makers International stand. So I'm bringing my pen lathe and stuff to do that, because they said, yeah, that's fine. Again, if it's all branded up, you know, as Axminster. So it'll be an Axminster lathe that I'm using, and I'll have my Axminster stuff. So I'm there all weekend. I'm rocking it big time, and obviously at night hanging out and having a giggle.
Awesome.
That is cool. Because I was going to ask you if if you're tag teaming with Craig, and obviously not then spending you get around the show, then come on over to the Make with Makers and show Steve how to turn a pen.
Well, I will do it.
Please do.
And also remember, Richard, that you said you would gladly take Bamber off our hands for a while at the show and take him for a walk.
Absolutely, I'm sure everyone will want to get me off the stand as well. So
yeah, you'll be taking Bamber around if that's all right.
Absolutely, Chief Dog Walker in residence for me.
Something tells me that Bamber will be taking Richard around.
Yeah, I've got a funny feeling too. And before we get to Andy, this is to Andy, Matt Brander. Hey, Matt, how are you, buddy? First time. He's a long-time listener, first-time caller. He says, "What's up, Matt?" Matt wants to know from you, Andy, how much concrete did you actually have to buy in order to deface that road?
It's about 35 pounds. That's not the money. That's like poundage. Sort of happened, yeah. Way more than I
thought you would have had to use stones.
No, I thought I was being clever because here in the States, we've got this place called Restore, which is secondhand building materials. And I ran across this hydraulic cement, like maybe 10 pounds of it. And then I had the thought of doing this project. Yeah, that didn't last very long. So there was multiple trips to the box stores, and it was a nightmare. Most of it went in Sean Farbelin's eyeball. It was bad. It was very bad. It went wrong about 3 or 4 times. In spite of all that, it's out there. It's ready to. It's Seymour's. People are stopping outside my house now and taking pictures of Seymour and tagging themselves.
What do you know? Andy's version of Jimmy's bench. There you go. People,
Yeah, kind of.
awesome.
In the middle of the street.
So, Andy, what are you doing at Makers? I mean, do you have anything planned, or are you just kind of going to walk around and look at stuff and be stupid, or do you actually have some commitments that you plan on doing displays or anything? What is if people want to find Andy Birkey? I guess is the question. Where can they find you?
Well, look for the deepest corner, the most defensible corner that you can see, and I'll probably be there, just trying to protect myself. And I'm trying to find the biggest Viking-looking guy I can find, and then just be like in his shadow. But then I've got a commitment to teach a class for kids of slow motion kung fu. It's going to be that started a while ago, that I taught Tim Sway's son Vance how to slow motion kung fu.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah,
I was there.
I remember that video.
I actually filmed that.
Yeah. So this is like,
So Andy will be returning with 2 broken legs and a broken nose.
again. But I've totally updated the curriculum. I'm really excited about the slow motion kung fu class. I just feel like it can be a lot of use to a lot of people. And I'm still looking for sponsorships. So if anybody's out there,
Yeah,
let me know.
you want to be careful with the kids over here. They drink a lot.
Well, hold on. I got Mr. Miyagi on the other line. Let me go grab it.
Wipe on, wipe on, wipe on, wipe on.
Yeah, maybe I could help Chris, like having kids waxing pens or something. I don't know.
That whole wax on, wax off thing. If you do that in front of a female, she doesn't understand and she slaps you. So just don't do that.
Taking notes.
Yeah, don't do that, Andy.
No, to be serious for a half second, I don't have really any commitments. I'm just I like to go into these things with no agenda, because you know how they are. You just vibe off of what's in front of you, and it's brilliant. And you just, to me, the less structure, the way my brain works, the less structure I have, the better off it is, and you never know what you're going to end up doing. I did have an idea of maybe seeing if anybody wants to get up in the morning with me and go for a walk and take some pictures. But other than that, I just don't. I'm just being casual and seeing what happens. Hope to slap everybody's backs. Lutz isn't going to be there, so I feel like I need to kind of like lead the hug brigade.
There you go.
Awesome. Is there anybody out in our chat today that maybe is going to be going for the first time that didn't go last year, that would have a question that they've been kind of wondering about? Because I mean, it doesn't matter what it is. If you have questions about the show, we're happy to answer them. And if not, then we can just move on. But I mean, at no point in time during today's show, I mean, if you guys have a question, throw it up there. We'd be happy to answer it for you if we can.
I think there's a couple of people out there that's going for the first time. I think AH Bespoke is going for the first time. SK Crafts is going for the first time.
I mean, Andy and Steve are all in the UK. And I guess this is more for Andy coming in from overseas, and really anyone coming from overseas. I know I told Chris about this last year, so I remember, because he'd already got his currency. But if you're coming in from overseas to the UK and you're getting your currency locally at home, at your home, try and get your currency provider to give you the lower denomination notes, £20 notes, £10 notes,
makes sense.
because it is a lot more difficult to get rid of 50s, because they're not in kind of daily circulation unless you're dealing arms or drugs or people or stuff like that. When you go into the shop to buy newspapers and drinks, people tend to frown on you buying with a £50 note.
Also, if you flush around £50 notes, you get hit on the head quite a lot.
That can also happen and become a risk. Yeah.
Hence the helmet.
Yeah.
That was what I was going to say.
But it might be useful to know I guess one of the clarification things I would say is, but the Visa cards and stuff we can use that straight away. There's no issues using that around the hotel and things, right?
Yeah, but don't go over there with an American Express, because not every place takes it. Because even though American Express sells you on, it's not. I mean,
American Express is going to look at me.
Yeah,
I mean, give cards to guys like me. Come on.
Visa, MasterCard, and you're good to go. American Express, I wouldn't rely on. Okay.
Chris, a lot of people over here would look at you funny for using cash, Andy.
Right. True.
when you came over here last time, Chris, and this is a genuine question because I don't know, did you use your card and did you sign or did you use a PIN?
Well, we talked about this last week, Richard, and if you were here, you would know this. And yes,
that is exactly what I was talking about before we were on the show, Christopher. I blooming well said that. Right, fine.
Yes, I did use my card over there, and most of the time, because I have a debit card, it also works as a credit card. I didn't have to put a PIN number in. The only time I needed to put a PIN number in is when I went to an ATM to withdraw some money. Then, of course, I had to enter the PIN number for my account, and that way. But I mean, the hotel didn't charge me, the bars didn't charge me, the food places didn't charge me. They simply printed out a receipt like they normally would. I signed off on it, left my tip, and then left. It's the same. It was a normal transaction, so no, Richard, it wasn't an issue.
That's
nice.
I think it would be helpful to know your PIN, though, just in case.
Definitely know your PIN number.
Yeah, I need to know Chris's PIN number.
Yeah, no, you don't.
Yeah, I tell you what, I'll offer to look after everybody's PIN. If you just email it to templeboyturnins@gmail.com, I'll look after them for you, no problem.
Now Steve's going to get 150,000 random 4-digit emails.
And well-deserved, too.
Mm-hmm.
Richard,
that'd be better than the usual crap I get. Sorry.
No, Richard, I know you were talking about the tender and what people should look for as far as denominations when they get their currency exchanged, but wasn't there something else that you had? Because I remember you giving me some advice that I found helpful last year, and I don't remember what it was. And maybe it was just me dreaming that you actually had something helpful to say. I don't remember.
I mean, one of the things that I find at the NEC is it is quite expensive, and I know a lot of people.
That's what it was. Bingo,
if you're bringing families, or I mean, just with one other person, or just even if you're on your own. My advice personally is stop in at a supermarket, Tesco's, Sainsbury's, wherever, and get things like bring some packets of crisps, cans of drink, bottles of pop. The things that won't necessarily go off, and then when you're in the hall, because there are food outlets within halls, so you go right to the back of the hall, and there's like a place where you can get burger and chips, and pasties, and posh salads, and overpriced sandwiches, and things like that. But if you bring snacks with you, they won't get taken off you. You can take them into the halls, that's fine. And there's little seating areas where you can have like a picnic. And Kat and I did last year for lunch. We basically brought sandwiches to eat during the day and then paid for a meal in the evening. Because if you're coming on Saturday morning or even Friday evening, staying over in the hotel, having breakfast, lunch, dinner, that can get expensive just in eating. And basically everyone wants to spend their money on toys, not food. So if you bring things like cans of pop and sandwiches and things, if you can, you'll save loads of money throughout the weekend. That's a good way to save some serious money.
Yeah, so if you're going over on a budget, then pack your own lunch, basically, if you're going to do that and go to the NEC. I mean, otherwise it's expensive. And I agree with that. And that was helpful, but I unfortunately never made it by Tesco, so I ended up paying the price. But
yeah, there was something else I forgot to mention on the first episode about the public transport, which actually Mark Christopher reminded me of, was when he was spending time with you, Chris, was about the trains. Now, when you go on the Virgin trains, you're actually not drunk. The toilets are having a conversation with you.
Oh my God, that's right. I forgot about that.
Explain, Chris. We want to know all about that.
Oh my God. Okay, here. This was a shock to me because, gentlemen, on the train, I was sitting with Mark. I mean, I meant to tell the story last week because I told the story about how it was such a pain in the butt to carry my luggage for a mile through the streets of London in order to get to the train station. And by the time I got to the train station, I was so done with travel. I said, "Give me a first class ticket," and I paid for a first class ticket. And Mark and I sat in first class, and we were enjoying a few beverages. Okay, let's put it that way. And then I got up to go to the bathroom, and I opened the bathroom door on the train, got in, and closed the door. And all of a sudden, the toilet started talking to me.
Oh, God.
No. I wasn't inebriated, but I was feeling good. Okay. And that freaked me right the hell out. I don't mind telling you. And it was a woman's voice. She was very pleasant, but damn it, that was funny because she was funny. Whatever recording they have when you go into the restrooms on the trains, don't get freaked out. Matter of fact, if you go on the trains, now that you know about that, definitely pay a visit to the bathroom just so you know what we're talking about, because it's absolutely hilarious.
People have actually recorded it and put it on YouTube. So if you type in Virgin Train toilet voice or something like that, you'll be able to listen to it.
Oh, it's hilarious. I mean, it freaked me out, but then I started laughing. I go, oh my God, this is funny. And I went back and told Mark about it. Yeah, thank you, Jamie. I'd forgotten about that.
It's only if a human follows you into the cubicle you've really got to worry.
Yeah, that gets weird quick.
Yeah,
well, that was pretty weird, pretty fast. I don't mind telling you, but it's anyway.
So at the NEC, what's the security situation? I mean,
security.
There's some 55-year-old guy with a bowler hat with an umbrella.
Because I'm watching a Premiership game today, and I saw all these dudes in yellow coats, and I thought, oh, I better check and see what kind of issues I'm going to have there. You know what I mean?
Well, it depends. What are you going to carry with you, Andy? I mean, first of all, we mentioned this last week as well, but I'll reiterate it. Don't go carrying pocket knives with you, people. In the UK right now, it's a really bad issue to be walking around with a knife. All right, don't do that. Just leave it.
Unless you're 14 and wearing a particular type of jacket.
Yeah, Boy Scout outfit. Yeah, leave your knives at home. So other than that, Andy, what were you planning on carrying with you?
You don't need to know that. I'm just asking generally. Come on. Okay. You know.
I don't want to alert the authorities. Okay, yeah, all right.
Yeah.
The world.
There is one thing I think we should cover. I know a lot of people that are flying over from the States aren't just coming over for the show; they're going traveling as well. Now I know Birkey and Jake are going to Stonehenge as well while they're over here. Now, when I first looked at the time, it said it closed at 7 o'clock at night. So I was like, okay. So we was working around the times that it closed at 7 o'clock at night. So we've got plenty of time. Then I went back and looked on the site, and just because it closed at 7 o'clock at night, they won't let you in after 5 o'clock. So make sure you double check what time that you're allowed in. Just because it closes at 7, they may not let people in after a certain time, because they need to shuffle people out to make sure it's all closed off and etc. etc.
Is that UK time?
Yes.
All right. Here's an idea. Here's an idea for people looking. And I had this written down because I found some. Yes, I'm sorry. I'm one of them people. I keep notes. I had some notes from last year that I couldn't believe I still had, and I found out that if you guys are in because Saturday night you guys are going to hang out at the bar at the Hilton, and then Sunday a lot of people are going to be leaving during the evening. But if you're there on Friday and you want to grab some friends, here I have an idea of something you can do, and it's actually in Birmingham, so it won't be hard to get there. If you want to just go have some stupid fun, there is one of the best Grand Prix karting tracks, go-kart track in the UK, located right there in Birmingham. You can race around with your friends on the track and go kart. I mean, that just sounds like stupid fun. So if somebody's looking for
let us drive,
no, it's public transportation will take you there. According to their website, you can get there. It's at Birmingham City Center, and public transportation is available. So if you guys want to go with a bunch of other friends and race each other around a go-kart track, I don't know. That just sounds like fun.
And it is American friendly because the steering wheel's in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you can drive in the middle of the road if you want.
I just thought if a bunch of you morons got on there, and I know everybody there's going to have a camera, that would be a friggin' hilarious video.
To it.
That would be a hilarious video.
I came.
Oh yeah, can you come, Chris?
Chris, yeah. You know what? And we need to see you win. That's what I want to see. I want to see Chris win.
Chris has got friends in blind racing, so he'll have a head start on us.
Oh yeah. My best mate's got 8 Guinness World Records. He's the world's fastest blind man.
8 Guinnesses, is that all? Jesus, I'd drink that in the first hour.
Oh, that's you under the table, no man. Look here, Mike Cluman, the world's fastest blind man. He can drink, bless him.
Wow.
Well, Andy, let me ask you this question, because it was asked out in the chat now, and I seem to have the Red Smith Gerald asked this question. So, Andy, I'll ask you, because Chris and Steve and Richard and Jamie went last year. Andy, who are you excited to actually meet when you get there? I'm sure there's a litany of people you could probably list, but I mean, is there? Yeah, Chris Fisher is saying he's going to be excited.
Yeah, it's got to be Chris.
Yeah. But Gerald just kind of wanted to know, in a general speak, I mean, for the people on the chat, please respond as well. But I mean, Andy, if you were, because you're going to be seeing a lot of people that you have actually never met face to face before.
Yeah, and I so dig my Euro and UK crew. Boy, that's a rough one. Like I say, I'm kind of freaking out a little bit, because I'm just vibing off everybody that I just have wanted to meet for so long, and I'm going to do it. I'm wicked. Look, I'm not going to start naming names, because it's too much. But yeah, I don't know. I'm like weirded out that I'm going to start crying or something, and then it's all just going to go sideways, and they'll cart me off.
If you do, make sure I've got a camera on you.
Yeah, and then Jamie's going to be around, which is always a nightmare.
That would definitely make you cry if James.
And I tell you what, last year when I went, and Gerald, thank you for asking the question, because that was definitely the highlight of my trip last year, was the people that because you go to these events, and the events are cool, and the NEC is cool, and the job that Nick and his team do is absolutely awesome and stuff. But man, it's always about the people you get to meet, and I got to meet some really cool people last year, and spend some quality time with each of them as well. I mean, because Richard and Jamie and Joe at the time, and I had been doing the podcast for quite some time, but I had met Jamie, but I had never met Richard or Joe, so it was kind of cool, to press the flesh, say, hey guys, love you, mean it. This, I'm really this short.
Note how Chris now isn't coming this year.
And I immediately decided I was not coming back. No, I'm just kidding. But there was a ton of people that, and what really struck me, and it might strike a lot of other people too. Now, Dave Woodbarber would say that was not the case with me, because apparently I snubbed him without knowing it.
He just said that.
But the amount of people that you get to meet that are just regular guys. I mean, I sat down, and I here's an example. In the bar, it was in the bar area. The bar wasn't even open, so guys, chill out on that. It was the middle of the day. I think it was on Saturday before we were all heading over. Peter Brown and his wife were sitting in the lounge, and so was, I think it was Matt Cremona. We're sitting there, and Peter goes, Chris. And I didn't have a clue that Peter even knew who the hell I was. And I walked up and sat down, and just a regular guy. I mean, these people are absolutely fantastic. So like Steve was mentioned last week, do not be afraid to walk up and say hello to somebody, because they are happy to see you as much as you are happy to see them. It was just awesome. Yeah. To be able to sit down and talk with people like that.
Unless you're Dave the Woodbarber, then nobody wants to see him.
Yeah, unless you well, because I think I was just put off by his looks, but I mean,
Peter Brown actually introduced me to his wife as Robin Jacobson's best friend.
But I mean, these are awesome people. I mean, they're just regular people. They put their pants on the same way you do. So just don't be afraid to go up and say hello to them. They're fantastic folks. They really are.
Yeah. Wait a minute, pants. What?
Oh, sorry.
Trousers. We don't have to have pants on, do we?
I forgot you're Scottish.
If I can just come in there, so like one of my greatest ambitions is to get to the States, and I'm a huge sort of like fan of the US, and for so many different reasons, aeronautics and the space program and the horror films, and and for me, walking around Makers last year, and it's all just listening. Now, to me, hearing all these American accents, I was like, it's like, what? I can't believe I'm in the same building as an American. It's like, it is my dream. Well, I've got two dream destinations: America, anywhere will do, and Denmark, sort of like my ancestral fatherland. But I was just like agog with all this, the American vibe, and you were all so nice, and it was a dream come true to hang out with so many nice people from all over the world, and just be in the moment,
right?
and you'll come across someone and you'll go, holy moly, I recognise that voice, and obviously you guys will say, yeah, you'll see a face, you know, across a crowd of people, and you'll be going, oh yeah, I can't believe he's here. So be in the moment, soak it all up, hug as many people as you can, and you know, just make that connection and network the shit out of it.
And
Yeah,
French
yeah,
kiss,
yeah.
and French, and give Andy a big French kiss because I'm
Oh,
gonna.
definitely, yeah.
Nom, 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 nom.
If you when you get the chance to go to the States, Chris,
Is that
make sure you
tequila?
go to the Waffle House at 2 a.m. with Andy Birkey.
And Anna, that's not true. And you know what's cool about that Chris, that what you're saying is because yes, it's happening in England, in Birmingham, but you know what? It's a worldwide event. There are people coming from all over. There are people from France, Spain, Germany, Norway, Denmark.
Yeah.
It's a really cool atmosphere that you meet all these very different people that you ordinarily wouldn't have met if you just kind of decided to sit on your couch at home and not go. So I mean, I do hope people are planning, and I'm hoping that we can convince a few people that were on the fence to actually go. The only thing I would say is a lot of these things that are happening, the after show stuff is happening at the Hilton, and unfortunately, and guys, correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I thought I saw somebody's post on Facebook earlier this week that said the Hilton was booked. Is the Hilton sold out? Do you guys know?
Yeah, I think the Hilton sold out. When I booked my room, I think there was like 1 or 2 rooms left, maybe.
Okay, yeah. But there are other options, Richard. I know that you and Kat are doing something in a caravan park, but there are other options besides the Hilton, and everything is relatively close to itself. So you guys can always come to the after parties at the Hilton and go back to your place if you want to. I mean,
that's a really sensible option as well. I mean, I'm quite keen on the whole frugal thing, and last year we did exactly the same as we're doing this year. We've booked a campsite which is about 5 or 6 miles up the road. It's about a 10-minute drive away, and we're taking the road trip HQ up there again. But if you're, you know, there's loads and loads of hotels around the NEC campus, and they're all walking distance. So, yeah. Don't be put off by, oh, it's the Hilton, and don't be put off by, I'm not going back to the Hilton because I'm booked into the Travel Lodge or the Ibis or the back of my van in the car park. Nobody cares. Certainly the Hilton don't care, because if you want to go in and buy a drink, they'll take your money just the same as anyone else.
Absolutely.
You know, basically that's the place to go, and don't be scared or put off by the prices, because yes, the drinks are. Was it like £5.80 for a pint of Guinness or something last year?
Yeah,
Steve?
Yeah, something like that.
I just threw the barman a tenner because Guinness is worth it.
You
just let Heath Knuckles buy yours.
Yeah, obviously.
So I don't drink very often at all, and I'll be driving again this time. So I'll be driving Kat and myself back to the caravan. So don't be put off by the price of drinks, because that's priceless. Is the meeting people, and you'll miss out 10 times more than just the show. That'd be my advice. Nobody cares if you're stood in the bar talking or stood in the bar getting drunk, and you know it takes a bigger man to say no, I don't want that last drink.
Well, Nick Samedi's out. Nick Samedi's out in the chat. Nick, how are you, pal? First of all, secondly, is while you're there, if you want to let us know if there's anything that you want us to let people know about today, then put it down there, and we'll get the word out for you. I mean, I don't know if there's any last minute things that you need to let people know about. If there is, let us know, and we'll pass on the info.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's not a bad idea, Richard, because I mean, with the Hilton being booked, and if people are sitting on the fence as to come or not come, we of course are going to say come to Maker Central, because you will not forget that experience. And if you can do it, do it. And if you have to do it and stay in a different place, or maybe even just make a day trip of it. You know, if you're living in the UK, but if you're actually abroad and you're thinking about, well, do I really want to fly over it? Then yes, the answer is yes. You really do want to fly over and find accommodations wherever you can find them in Birmingham. There are plenty of places to stay. It doesn't have to be at the Hilton. It just make sure you come, because it's going to be an event you're not going to forget. Trust me.
Yeah. Someone else has reminded us. I'm going to apologise to the Blue Light Turner, because he mentioned this early on, and I've been trying to get a word in edgeways. Parking. Excuse me. If you're driving to the NEC, do yourself a favour and pre-book your parking. If you go to the NEC's website or just Google prepaid parking at the NEC, it's £12, I believe, instead of 20. It's a significant saving for getting it online, and plus you don't have to stand in the queue. I've been to the NEC when shows have been on before, and you stood waiting to pay some minimum wage person that hates their job
the blue light Turner brought that up earlier, Steve, didn't he? Wasn't there something about that he said?
Yeah, Richard did say that. Yeah, so if you pre-book the parking online, you save £8. So yeah,
and that's at the NEC, right? That's at the NEC.
At the NEC, yeah.
Okay.
And if I'm doing my math right, that basically equates to 1 beer at the bar.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, Andy, if you
a beer, a packet of crisps, and some peanuts.
Nice.
Yeah. If you put your parking prepaid, you would save £8, and that would cost you the same as a pint of beer and a packet of crisps, and that means you could stay, have a drink, and still be within the legal limit to drive to go home.
Richard meant chips, by
There
the way,
you go.
just in case you're confused.
Potato chips.
A drink and a snack.
And a snack.
Snack.
Well,
I'll hold on. A snack to him is like half a pound of bacon.
Maybe some pork scratchings.
Oh, but wait a minute. No, since we touched on the subject, we must let people know there is a difference between English bacon and American bacon. And if you're coming from America and you're asking for bacon, it's going to show up looking like something you didn't expect it to be. It's because there's a difference.
Yeah. But the important thing is, it's still great, and it's still part of a pig. So
but they're both really good. Trust me on this one. They're both really
and do not ask a policeman for bacon.
Taking notes.
So where was it? I've missed it now. Missed it. Somebody asked about going to the bar straight after the show closes. Somebody in the chat. Who was that? I think it was Phil Campbell.
What the Weatherspoons?
No, I've lost it now. The chat's moving too fast.
Oh, you know what?
Somebody in the chat asked, "Does everyone go to the Hilton straight?" Oh, here we go. Will everyone go to the bar as soon as Makers closes? That was from Phil Cannon. I think pretty much that there is something going on with Vetric this year at the Weatherspoons.
At Weatherspoons, yeah. There's if you haven't gotten an invite from Vetric to go to Weatherspoons, then just tag along with somebody who already has. But outside of that, God, there was something in the link below, folks. I mean, in the description below what we're doing right now today, if you click see more, I don't know if you even have to right now, but you'll find a link to Maker Central, the website, to where you can buy your tickets. But there's also a link to the layout of the show that Nick and his team have put together. So if you're wondering where things are, there's a link down below to click that, and you'll be able to see the show layout as it currently is constructed. So you'll be able to see if you want to pre-plan what you're going to do at Makers or things of that nature. Then you can go through and kind of do the walkthrough of the floor plan that Nick has put together, and it's absolutely awesome. And there's all kinds of different crafts and trades, and there's I think there's 3 stages this year. I mean, last year there was 1. And Nick has done a really nice job as far as, upgrading that. And I think Record Power has 1. Gorilla Glue has a 2nd one. And we're by the Gorilla Glue. The Make with Makers booth is by the Gorilla Glue stage, and then Record Power has another one up here, and then there's the big one that you're going to see all the most of the presentations, the Jimmy DeRestas of the world things. They'll be on the main stage over in the top right, if I remember the floor plan correctly. Anyway, the links are down below if you want to kind of familiarize yourself before you go. Nick and his team have done a really nice job of laying that out, and it's there for you to look at. So go take a look at it.
Yeah, I'm glad you've reminded me about the Gorilla Glue where we are with our little stand, because I've arranged with Chris Smith, I think it is. I'm terrible with names, but the Woodgeneer, Mad Maker, he was setting something up with Gorilla Glue for having people go over to their stand. So what I've managed to blag is I'm going to pop over to their stand for a little while to do something. I have no idea what, with the intention of trying to blag some free glue that I can then take back to our stand and give away to people. So.
Nice.
Robbing Peter to pay Paul.
Absolutely. So it just helps spread the love. So it hopefully will get people coming to us to get some free glue and say hi. And it's kind of good to give other people stuff away. So that's weird. So Yes, you reminded me about that. Chris.
Something else to be mentioned. I just went and looked at that invite from Vectric, and the hall that Maker Central was in last year is actually obviously being held in a different hall this year because it's obviously going to be a much bigger event.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually going to be held in hall number 2 this year.
Yeah, we're right down the other end, aren't we?
Yeah, so that's something else to just to take note. It says I think you have to take the Skywalk or something. It says here.
Yeah,
So,
but basically, I think they're using the same Weatherspoons as they did last year, which just coincidentally was opposite.
Yeah,
so
which is opposite hall number 6.
Yeah, so basically head down to hall 6 and 7, and then it's opposite. It's right in the middle of the curve, so it's difficult to miss. To be fair.
Yeah. So there was that.
You know what? I'm just talking about this. I'm excited for you guys because I know what a great time it was last year, and I hope that Nick gets even more of a turnout this year than we did last year, and it was huge last year, and so I'm hoping it will be again. But I will caution people one more time that if you want to not stand in a line and go early and get there before the show actually opens, I mean, you'll probably spend the same amount of time standing there before the doors open as you would if you got in line. But if you don't like standing in lines, get there early because a very huge queue or line forms outside Maker Central trying to get in. And they do a pretty good job of getting anybody in at a good pace. It's just that I just remember walking in last year. I think I was with you, Jamie, and we looked, and that line was like going all the way down the NEC. And like there were people that had other shows going on that were coming over and going, "What the hell is happening in here?" Because we're not getting this kind of audience in here. I mean, there was a big line. So
yeah, I think Bobby Duke actually ran down the line with his camera.
Yeah, and it was a long line. So if you don't want to stand in a long line, get there early.
But also that line didn't last very long. Once it got moving,
no, like I said, they moved people in pretty quick, but it was a long line. That's all.
Yeah. I think a lot of that was time taken up with getting people their kind of online ticket for their wristbands. And once you've got your wristband, then the next day it's just straight in and out. You just flash the wristband and they scan it.
I'm not saying that they're slow at the door. They're not. They expedite people in. It's just that, I don't know. I have a problem with walking this way, turn around to come back and walk this way again. It's like one of those I'm just lazy things. So
so Red Smith just made a point that something we haven't really touched on this episode. He says, "Don't forget Make with Makers. A lot of cool stuff going on. Sewing, leathercraft, forging, robot making, and more."
Yes, Steve House is going to be on the far side away from us if I remember the floor plan correctly, he's on the right-hand side of the show. The Make with Makers booth is going to be on the right-hand side by the Gorilla Glue stage area type thing. And Red's Red's going to be doing leather work. I believe Crafts with Ellen is going to be doing some sewing. The Cat's going to be in there airbrushing. Richard's going to be in there routing. Jamie, you're going to be doing scrolling. Steve is going to be doing turning. And the Make with Makers booth is an opportunity for people who have never done any of those things before to go in and get some hands-on and do that. Mm-hmm. It's not for people that, Red's not going to sit down and try to teach a master leather worker what the deal is there. This is for people that just kind of want to learn and get their feet wet. So if you want to come, that's pretty much what you guys are going to be most of the time, isn't it?
A lot of the time, yeah.
I mean, Jamie, you're demoing for Record on, is it Saturday afternoon?
Yeah, it's Saturday about 3 o'clock, 3:30, something like that.
And Steve, are you seeing Glyn on his stand, or are you just on the Make with Makers and then mincing?
I am just doing Make with Makers. I'll probably be hanging around there for most of the weekend, but then I'll be walking around and meeting people. I want to try a few of the things that are going on throughout the weekend too, so I'll be tipping about and trying bits and pieces. But if people have any questions whatsoever to do with wood turning, then come over and see me, and I can just walk over to the lathe and show them. If I'm not at the lathe, then I'm quite willing to walk over and show them and demonstrate anything they want to see.
Cool. Chris, once again, where are you going to be at, Chris?
I'm turning with Axminster Tools and Machinery all weekend.
Awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
Are you going to come over to our stand and do a little jiggy with Steve as well?
I believe so. It has been sort of like mentioned that I'd go over and make a pen that would be then for charity or something. So I'll be bringing my Precision Pro pen lathe and some pre-prepared pen blanks, and I'll turn and polish and assemble the kits there live. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a giggle.
Because I know, like with
Brilliant.
Steve, you're going to be turning pens with people, aren't you? Because I've prepared a load of blanks for you.
Actually, Richard, I've decided not to do that now. I'm going to do bowls. So could you prepare a few bowl blanks for me now?
What you need to do then is contact Dan Murfield, because if people don't realise this, we've teamed up with Dan, with a few people actually. They're helping our kind of bit of the Make with Maker stand. One of those is Dan over at Taylor Murfield, the pen kit people.
Oh, he froze and everything.
Oh man, that has to hurt.
Yeah, and so
Yeah.
so Chris, basically the kit you were talking about bringing over, you don't have to bring over. We've got that entire kit at the stand already. We've got pen blanks, we've got pen kits, we've got finishing supplies. I mean, Steve is ready to go with a bunch of it, and I know that they have plenty of pre-prepared pen blanks because an awesome person I know sent them over to them, and they have.
I get that.
I think
I get that, but I have to be seen turning an Axminster lathe.
Oh, I see. Okay, well, because you're sponsored by X. All right, well then,
Yeah, so you
fine.
just need to bring your lathe and your looks.
Fine. Then bring your lathe and your looks. We have everything else.
Little baby pen lathe, and because Axminster are paying me for the weekend, so and they're paying for me to be there. They're paying for our hotel and our food and everything.
Well, then roll your
What
lathe
is-
over, my friend. You're more than welcome, I'm sure.
what is this term
Yeah.
paying that you speak of, Chris? I've never heard of this.
I know.
They're buying his beer for the weekend, Steve. Just shut up.
I don't think alcohol's involved, so I'll be trying to bring my own.
Take a bottle of rum.
Chris.
The hill and
Chris, you're ruining the mental image I had, so just leave it alone. All right, just come on. Jamie, do you have and guys, I'm sorry, but we're running short on time, so we have to give Jamie time for his autobiography or his biography.
Yeah.
Do you have your
Jamie's page.
I'm actually going to make a plug for a couple of members of the community. A couple of members of the community. There may be more, but I only know of 3 that I can think of at the moment. You've got the Red Smith, you've got AH Bespoke, which is Andy Hill, and you've got Dave the Wood Barber. They've all just released T-shirts. So if you want to go and support them and their channels, by all means, please go and support them. Every bit of money help with if you can afford it. That in mind, we've also got T-shirts. You've got the Team Scrollsaw and the Team Turner T-shirts, which is me versus Steve. You can get them at
Hashtag.
Sorry, I was talking
Team
while
Turner.
you were interrupting.
That's fine.
You can
Sorry,
get them.
Jamie. Really sorry,
can-
Jamie.
You can get them at makersinternationalpodcast.com. You can also get the Makers Rhapsody T-shirts, and you can also get the Makers Rhapsody hoodies. Now, something that was brought up in a chat the other day was there seemed to be interest in the Makers Rhapsody's hoodies, and some people were interested in getting hoodies of the Team Scrollsaw and Team, or more the Team Turner one, if I'm honest. But hoodies for the Team Turners. So, if it's worth it to anybody else out there, would it be worth us putting it in the store? Hoodies for the Team Turner and Team Scrollsaw.
Sure.
I mean, I know I'd buy one.
Hey, it doesn't cost us anything to offer them. So if people want them, then Jamie, throw them up there. I mean, if we sell one and make one person happy, then that works for me.
Also, we've got Makers Rhapsody stickers. they're kind of limited edition up on the website as well. We earn absolutely no profit from them whatsoever. So whatever the store charges for them, that's what we're selling them at. So, and I think they come in 2 different sizes. So
yeah, but
that's
I mean,
that.
okay, the caveat being there, Jamie, if you do the hoodies, then they're not going to be available in time for you to wear them at Maker Central. So
I think the contest that me and Steve are doing is actually going to be after Maker Central, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. So I think we're going to probably do that the week after. Richard and I have to get together and figure out how we're going to judge this. But yeah,
I vote Jamie. Jamie for the win.
So that's that for the news, if you like.
Do you have a shout out?
I do. My shout out this week goes to Daryl from Dreadnought Woodshop.
I like Daryl.
I saw some of Daryl's. I followed Daryl for quite a long time actually, and I saw some of his stuff in person in Atlanta last month, and he does some real beautiful stuff. He's actually coming over to Maker Central this year as well with his wife, so it's going to be great to see Daryl again. So yeah, Dreadnought Woodshop.
Awesome.
Cool dude.
Well, let's give it to our guest, Chris or Andy. Do either of you have somebody you want to give some love to today? And if so, then who are they? And if not, then we'll come back to you and give you some time to think about it.
You first, Andy.
Okay. I was just talking to Wes Swain from the Making Geeks podcast this week, and he turned me on to their new castmate Once Upon a Workbench YouTube channel. The dude is very talented and needs way more attention than what he's getting. So give it up.
Once Upon a Workbench?
Once Upon a Workbench.
All right.
Stuff. Makes a lot of stuff with his kids.
That'll be in the description below on Wednesday when this comes back out. Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, Chris, who you got? Anybody?
I've got a guy. He's called Baz, short for Barry, obviously. He's goes under the name of Timber Marvels, and he's a great guy. He's working really hard to make his name as a maker and a creator. He's a great supporter of mine, a subscriber. He turns up to quite a few of my demos, and last week when I demonstrated, he even stayed behind to help me pack up and load the car. So Timber Marvels, give a shout out and go and check Baz's. Apparently he does some amazing rocking horses, Nicholas said, and yeah, he's really trying hard to get noticed. So Timber Marvels.
Timber Marvel. Awesome. All right. I will find him and I'll put that link in the description as well. All right. Richard, Steve?
I tell you what, Steve, Chris, if you want to do yours next, because I'm trying to work out how to unmute Steve.
Sure. Well, Steve can unmute himself. My shout out goes to Gil Poznansky. He had his 2-year anniversary of his Makers Monday show. And as you know, Gil does a show every Monday. He puts out a show featuring one of the makers in the community. And his show actually comes out on Sunday, but he's in Australia. So it's Monday for, I'm not going to get Doc Brown on here and explain the space-time continuum anyway. But anyway, he does a Makers Monday show. He normally posts it in for us. In America, it actually shows up on our late Sunday night feed, but it's Makers Monday. And Gil featured us for his 2-year anniversary of doing Makers Monday. So, Gil, thank you very much. It was a really honor of you to do that for us, and I appreciate it. So, if you have the opportunity, go give Gil Poznansky some love. Makers Monday is my shout out.
His videos always are upside down up in the U.S. I don't know why.
Headstands, Andy. Just work on your Zen and then watch his vid stuff. It's all good. Okay, good man. All right, Steve, over to you, I suppose. Can't hear you, buddy. Oh, he's messing.
I know.
He's messing with
Richard. Yeah.
Sorry, was I supposed to react then?
I knew you weren't watching. I knew you were looking at something else. Yes, my shout out he's actually in. I saw him in the chat earlier. Mahan Woodworks. He put out. Me. I like different kinds of projects, not the same old. And he did a really cool make where he made a baby gym. So do you know one of these type tripod stands with a pole and the toys hang down for a little baby to play with.
Yeah.
He made one of those, so it's really cool. I love the process of it all and everything. And I think he's quite a newish channel, and he could maybe do with the love and a few more subscribers. So Mahan Woodworks, great video. Thanks for sharing.
Awesome.
Nice.
All right, Rich. Sorry, you're in a corner. It's up to you.
Yeah, well, my shout out, it wasn't actually in the chat. He's in the room with us now. My shout out this week is Andy, you lunatic, because your little video, your little kind of funny little ditty that you did on your channel this week with the Seymour mosaic pothole filling thing. I sort of alluded to it at the start of the show. I thought it was absolutely hilarious, and a little bit came out, if I'm honest, when I was watching it. So it did make me laugh.
That was good fun, man. It was great. Sean Farbalin, Maker on the Move on Instagram, was coming by, transiting the country, and so I put him to work and almost put his eye out.
Blinded him with concrete.
That's pretty fun.
That was a good shot.
That was a great video too. Richard, I agree with you. Good stuff, Andy.
Awesome. I think that just about wraps the show up tonight. Has anyone got any other business that they want to do now for the people listening in the future, or for in a minute for people listening live only this evening? Should we wait to do? We're not on Instagram, but we are, so we don't do Patreon instead. So we'll do a free after party that you don't have to pay for, because we don't do it in a minute show.
Wait, what?
Exactly.
Exactly.
Just row the boat and just ignore it.
Absolutely. So we'll do it in a minute. Okay. So I think that does just about wrap the show up for this evening. If you are still listening, thank you. If you're not, we will say what we like about you. Until next week, when we're talking about something else at another time with other people, you take care.
Have a great week, everybody.
Later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.